Blake Lively, Hollywood royalty fashion icon and once a beloved figure among fans, has suddenly found herself at the center of a growing backlash. What happened? Why are so many women, once her strongest supporters, now turning away from her? The shift is dramatic, the timing is critical, and the implications could reshape how we see celebrity accountability in 2025. For years, Blake Lively cultivated an image of elegance, wit, and quiet power. From her breakout role in Gossip Girl to her presence on red carpets beside Ryan Reynolds, she has symbolized an aspirational yet relatable femininity. Women across the world embraced her as a role model, a mother balancing work and life, a stylish but grounded personality in a world of glitter and chaos. But now something's changed. A wave of criticism has swept social media, fueled by emerging legal developments, rumored industry behavior, and a narrative that suggests her polished image might have cracks behind the scenes. Content creators, particularly female voices on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, are beginning to question the real story behind Blake's recent decisions, especially her legal moves involving subpoenas and her team's alleged targeting of small creators. What was once seen as elegance is now being called control. What was interpreted as wit is now being reframed as tone deafness, and her efforts to protect her image, they're being viewed by some as a campaign to silence independent voices. So why is this happening now? Is it backlash against celebrity power in general? Is it the result of a media environment that no longer accepts polished PR statements without critique? Or is there something deeper, an emotional break between Blake and the very community that once cheered her on? And this expose will break down how the backlash started, what incidents accelerated it, and why women, specifically many of whom were her biggest fans, are questioning everything they once believed about Blake Lively. To understand the current storm, we have to rewind just a bit. It all began with what seemed like a minor controversy. A few creators online began discussing inconsistencies between Blake Lively's carefully crafted public image and her private legal maneuvers. A report surfaced that she or her team had issued subpoenas to a handful of small YouTubers who had posted commentary videos discussing ongoing public lawsuits involving the actress and other celebrities. At first it seemed like gossip, but then came the receipts, public court filings, subpoenas allegedly targeting low-profile creators, including women with channels that had fewer than 1,000 subscribers. That detail hit home for many. The optics were damaging. The idea that a Hollywood star might use her resources to pursue small online voices didn't sit well with the public, especially women who saw themselves in those creators, women who were just trying to express their opinions in the digital town square. Suddenly, support for Blake began to erode, not because of one isolated act, but because it felt like a pattern of control, of protecting image at all costs, even if it meant targeting everyday people. And women particularly began asking themselves if she's willing to do this to a small female creator. How far will she go to maintain her brand? Comment sections, Twitter threads, and TikToks exploded with discussion. Some called it a misuse of power. Others framed it as tone-deaf in the post-Meta era, where silencing voices, especially female voices, carries serious reputational risk. One viral tweet read, "Blake Lively suing women for talking about her in their own corners of the internet. That's not feminism, that's fear." What makes this backlash particularly intense is that Blake Lively didn't just enjoy popularity. She represented something specific to women. She wasn't the loudest voice in activism, but she was considered classy, controlled, and consistent. She was the one who didn't make headlines for scandals but made waves with grace. But in 2025, that image is being reevaluated. Feminism today doesn't just ask women to be powerful, it asks them to be inclusive, to uplift others, to be transparent about the ways power is used and who it affects. And that's where the trouble lies for Blake. The legal actions she's allegedly pursued have been perceived by some as gatekeeping, limiting conversation, punishing speculation, and trying to erase digital discussion from the public record. Even if those actions are within her legal rights, the moral question is louder: should she do it? Does defending one's brand justify stepping on the voices of others? A new wave of feminist discourse has emerged, asking what real empowerment looks like in the age of social media. Is it about controlling one's narrative through legal channels, or is it about facing critique with transparency and openness? Women who once admired Blake for her elegance now see those same traits as shields, tools used to deflect criticism rather than engage with it. Some are calling it a selective silence, speaking up only when it's convenient and remaining quiet when others need solidarity. Many female creators have come forward not just with commentary but with emotion. They talk about fear of speaking out, fear of being legally targeted, fear of becoming the next example. And that fear has triggered something deeper, a collective questioning of how female power operates. When it climbs the Hollywood ladder, is it still power for women? Or just power over others? In the past, celebrities held the narrative. Magazine covers, interviews, and publicists told the story. But in 2025, that's no longer the case. YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram commentators. These voices now hold significant sway. And many of these digital storytellers are women, smart, sharp, and unafraid to challenge celebrity narratives. And when Blake Lively or anyone appears to target these creators, it's no longer a PR win. It's a digital battleground. Several creators who were allegedly contacted by legal teams have posted response videos, calm, detailed, and emotionally raw. They aren't tabloids. They're women sitting in bedrooms and living rooms sharing what it feels like to be overwhelmed by legal pressure simply for offering opinions, and that authenticity has power. One creator said, "I used to love Blake Lively. I still want to. But this isn't what I expected from someone I admired." The backlash isn't coming from hate. It's coming from disappointment. That's why the response has been so visceral. Because it feels like betrayal, not from a villain but from a heroine. And when a heroine disappoints, the emotional fallout is bigger than any scandal. The backlash against Blake Lively isn't about tearing down a woman in power, it's about holding all power, even feminine power, to a standard of accountability and compassion. In a time where female empowerment means lifting others up, not just protecting one's own image, the choices Blake has allegedly made, especially around legal actions involving small creators, feel too many like a betrayal of the very values she seemed to represent. Women once looked up to Blake not just for her style or her celebrity status, but for what she symbolized: grace under pressure, kindness in a ruthless industry, and authenticity in a world full of filters. But when that image clashed with actions that appeared to target the voices of everyday women online, something shifted. The emotional bond many felt with her began to dissolve, not because she's flawed, but because the response felt cold, impersonal, and overly corporate in a space that thrives on real connection. The truth is, this moment could be a turning point. Blake Lively still has time to reflect, respond, and rebuild. What her audience craves isn't perfection, it's humility. A simple acknowledgement, a sign of self-awareness, could go a long way toward healing the rift. Ultimately, this backlash serves as a reminder that fame is no longer a shield. In the age of social media, fans are not just spectators, they're participants in the story. And when they feel pushed out or unheard, they speak up loudly. Blake's next steps matter, because how she chooses to respond won't just define her legacy, it could redefine what it means to be a modern woman in power. Will she listen? Will she grow? The world, and especially the women who once admired her, are watching.